Adulting 101. We're talking about that today. You know, funny enough, you can take this out. I sing every time I open my radio show as well.
Really?
It just helps with the nerves. It's a nervous tick I have. This was called me like, why do you always sing? I was like, it's a nervous tick, stop it.
And it's been helping me, so it's fine.
Yeah. So today we're going to be speaking about adulting and growing up in the 21st century. I'm 22, so I'm just at the cusp of it. Am I an adult yet? Is there an age that you qualify as an adult?
Girl, there's no age. You just wake up and you're like, shit, I'm adulting.
And that is Lebo speaking about her journey. But we're going to touch up on that. We've also got Nonhle, who's chilling with us today. And she's going to be telling us. Let's start with a quick game, though. We're going to play a game of association. When I say adulting or adult, what comes to your mind?
Fuck.
Oh, really? Why fuck?
Shit. Yeah. That's really how it is. It's like fuck. Like, when did this happen? Did I sign an application? Was I told that at a certain time you're officially an adult? And yeah.
I feel like I want to play forever young. I want to be forever.
That really sums it up for me. Like, just that word is.
I know for me, like, when I think about it now, just from the top of my head, is a mosquito bites. It feels so good because of all the things you're doing, but it feels it's annoying at the same time. And like it's good, it's annoying, it's frustrating, you want it out. Like it's a whole lot of emotions, a whole lot of things in one. But yeah, dude, I totally feel you.
It's a lot.
So when did it hit you? When did it hit you that, okay, I think I'm an adult now?
I think it continues to hit me in different phases. Like, no joke. It's like, okay, you go to varsity, and I like the fact, like, you're still in school, so there's a structure. You don't really feel like you're adulting that much because, attend my classes, do my assignments, submit. It's routine. You're still in that. You go home, you continue with life, right? And then you finish school. And then you're like, okay, what then? And I remember, because then that's the other reason I did my honors, is because I was like, I don't want to go into the working world. I don't know what I'm going to do. So instead of wasting oxygen, let me just go back and continue studying. That will even sound smarter. I'm like, hey, I got my honors. But the motivation was like, I don't want to adult. But maybe in that way, that was my way of sort of adulting, And then later on, as you go through life, like it's hitting me now at 25, that my parents like now allow me to drop off my sister at school. So then I'm like, shit, I'm adulting. Because then they trust me with their child. Like, if I'm driving myself, it's one person. But if my little sister's there, it's like, okay, she's now, maybe there's like a timeline and like toss. They say, she gets to this point, she qualifies to take my child, she's adulting. She gets to this point, she can stay home alone with the kids. So yeah, I think it's different phases.
I know, I forgot what the question was. Like,
when do you know?
Sorry.
when did it hit you? You were like, oh, god damn it, I'm an adult
adulting
now.
Like, I'm adulting now.
As soon as I started making money. Because with money, as you say, the quote comes great responsibility. So now I can't just take up get my money and just keep my money and see but because I'm staying at home, I can't do that. But now there's responsibilities. You have siblings you want to buy things for. Luckily I'm not at the time when I was adulting, because my adulting is in and out.
Which black child though?
Right.
It's in and out, because done with high school adulting, I went and got a job working for Macro, very mark actually, and staying with my granny. So that was like, I had to take care of granny. Actually, like, fuck, let me repay her for all the things she's been doing all my life, because I was raised with my granny, and then it's just like, oh, actually I need to go to school, went to school, not adulting anymore, quit after 6 months, adulting again. Now I'm like, actually no, not ready to adult. Let me go to school and actually finish this degree, So at this current moment, I'm not adulting, but I'm speaking of the times of when I was adulting, and I realized when I started making money, what adulting is.
I feel you guys. It's so funny because it seems like the clear distinction of adulting is you leave school and so you become an adult. I'm never leaving school. I'm still in school. I'm never graduating.
You prolong that.
But it's funny because I think adulting's different in terms of when you realize, oh goddamn, I'm an adult. And for me, I'm still in school, but when I moved abroad, I realized like there was nobody. There was no mom to be like 6 o'clock curfew. It literally was. I'm in the world alone. What am I going to decide to do with this crap right now? Because I don't know what I'm doing. And I think for me, I love being an adult because I always felt like I was a 16-year-old stuck in an adult's body. Like I was always an adult stuck in a young person's body. I was so serious about everything. I always, and everybody, even in high school, people used to be like, "This girl is so serious. Like, why is she like this?" You know. And so as I've grown up and I started my job, I was like, this feels natural. Maybe I was just stuck as an adult all my life, but I was just young.
But even though you're in school,
yeah,
I feel like that's also another form of adulting because like you're staying away from home and you're a varsity student. Nobody's waking you up. Nobody's forcing you to go to class. Lecturers don't care whether you're on time or not. So I feel like maybe there's different degrees, if I could put it like that, of like adulting. So even when you are in school, somewhat you are being, it's like the entry level,
you know,
of
actually,
adulting.
Funny enough, I actually have to say I know the moment I decided I was an adult. I went to my grandma. My grandma was shouting at me. And I said to her, I think I was 19, 20. I was like, I'm old. I understand you. Speak to me like I'm a human being and will speak properly. I will do exactly what you're saying, but you do not need to shout at me. You need to give me some respect. I'm an adult now. That was a hallmark. She never treated me the same again. And that's how I broke my virginity. Adult World 101.
And you lived to tell the tale.
I lived there. There's no trappering you after that. You know when you certify yourself in the house. I was like, listen, we need to change these dynamics. I think that when I started becoming more assertive, even with my parents, and our dynamics started changing, and I was like, no, I think I know what is good for me now. Because even when I went to America, I didn't even ask for their permission. I basically was like, this is what I'm doing, you know? And so it was definitely like when I started making decisions that impacted my life more and more, I knew, man, I'm an adult
You're an
now.
adult.
This is me taking life by its terms.
Yeah.
Definitely felt like that. Hi. And then your journey so far, how's it going? How do you feel like you started work, Lebo, ne?
Yeah.
You started working. And so adulting has very many complexities now.
True.
I want to just touch on this. As Black people, we go through black tax throughout our adulting phase. And especially when you're a young adult. How are
That's a topic, like honestly, that topic is for another podcast because we can talk on that forever.
No, you need to tell me, touch on it. How's your journey been so far with the whole black tax and being a young adult?
Do you know what the sad part is? It's almost like it's black tax on black tax because it's your parents' black tax that they're dealing with and then they giving that to you as well. Do you understand? Because like sometimes I feel like maybe if my mom knows that she needs to help her sister with something and then she's unable to for whatever reason, she'll come to me. And I remember having this conversation with her and she's like, I'm gonna say it doesn't sound nice in English. So she'll say like Hexa lil mo and so if I don't come to you with my cries, who am I gonna go to? You get? And it's the strangest things. I'm just like, yo, lady, I'm not even making that much. Like, what do you think? Like, and she's got this thing where she'll just randomly pop numbers. She's like, oh, nza make 1,000 nyana. And I tell her saying nyana at the end as in little doesn't make it little. Do you understand? So let's bring it back and be like, okay, Lebogang, what are your finances? What are you looking at? What are your expenses? This is how much I need. You get? And I think the problem is with young adults, I think our parents don't understand that like we do have our own expenses. They might not seem that big. Like I don't have a mortgage to pay, you know, but if I'm saying I want to save up for certain things so I can do certain things, or I want to save up for this, or I'm paying off my student loan, which I am, things like that, or like I have to maintain the car because now I'm driving it. I can't be working and expect my parents to take care of the service. And it's things like I didn't think I needed to deal with. So black tax is another topic.
I think naturally we shouldn't have to deal with it, you know. But for me, it's just like, oh, mama, girl. I'm so quick. Like I'm so quick. Even with my granny, like I just want to give her everything because every time when someone asks for my help in my family, I think about all the time. In my family, biggest people who ask for my help, my mom, my granny. I can't help but think of everything they've done.
Right.
That there's simply whatever money you ask from me, I cannot repay you enough, you know. And honestly, like you said, you don't pay mortgages and things like that, you know.
So I'm
still living at home, so definitely don't pay rent and stuff like that. I do buy whatever food I want for them to eat, which is my food for me. If you eat my food, that's even you having a better life, actually. But I'm really quick.
Right.
They run to me. I'm there alone.
But it's a
Before
good, it's a feel good feeling as well, though. It's a bit of both. Because I'm just like, oh, she can come to me. Oh, okay. But then sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, I just genuinely can't do it all. Like I'm just like, I really don't have.
Like for me, it's been very different because I'm in and out of the country. Like out of sight, out of mind. Like when I'm not here, people just forget that I exist. So nobody comes to me asking me money. When it comes to South Africa, it's broke day. Like I always tell my friends, I'm about to get broke, y'all, because this is real. Like I came home, my grandma, before I even got home, my grandma was like, I need a laptop, I need a phone, I need this, I need that. And the reason I did say though that I'm getting them a laptop is for the next couple of years I'm not coming home for a while, and I need for them to be able to contact me and Skype and do all of that. So I was like, internet is standard, laptops, everybody. So I got all of that. But I cannot deal with black tax. Last year I came home for the first time. I freaked out. I literally cried. I was like, I don't understand how you expect me to do all of this with. I don't even work. I don't work. I'm like, what do you think I'm gonna get this money from? Everybody's like, you're from America. You got the dollar. I'm like, where's the dollar, guys? Please. So for me, black tax is very different. But I had a sit down conversation with my mom and my grand because like for me, those are my two people as well. And I said to them, you gotta understand, you cannot ask for a fountain to give you water if it does not have water itself. So I said to them, I said, don't worry, I've always got you, and you guys are my homies, you know that. But you've got to give me time to also grow and to leverage what I'm trying to do. So I said to them, the money that I could be giving you now, Gogo, you are going to go and you're going to buy your groceries and stuff. I could always put that into an investment portfolio for you because I do investments and from my business side. So I said, instead of me giving you physical cash, I'd rather put it in an investment portfolio for you. I'd rather do sustainable things like that because I cannot have you in the next 10 years still saying to me, but give us the money, but give us the money, but give us the money. So for me, it was just a very clear cut thing. I only at home, and this may sound really harsh right now, I always say to them, I only help out if it is a dear necessity. If it is not a necessity, it's going to be a no. Like my grandma the other day, she texted me, she's like, I want to buy this bed, man. I'm like, what's wrong with your bed? She was like, I know you've got the money. I was like, no. It's a very clear cut no, because is it sustainable or are you just going to come back tomorrow and ask for more money? So I'm very strict with my parents. And I always say to them though, in the next couple of years, you'll thank me for this because I need to get to a place where it's sustainable for me to give you. Right now, Jay, you guys are just
draining the fountain.
You are just draining the fountain. So let the fountain build. Let me get to a point, and I promise you guys, I always say that this is my one line at home. I promise I'll be back. I promise I'll be back. I promise I got you in a couple of years. Give me time.
No, so, but yeah. I can totally understand that. Actually, I think it's really smart. If you're gonna put it in words and actually action it out, it's pretty legitly smart. But I can't help it.
Like what she said, out of sight, out of mind. We stay at home.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm that person who drives in traffic and sees that homeless guy and he asks for money. And everyone be like, Richard, stop, he's on drugs, can't you see? Like, he's just wasting your money. Like, you're wasting your money. I'm like, listen, if I give him this 50 rand, and this 50 rand means that he's going to go buy his next hit, I don't care because that hit will make him happy. And that's
Watch me camp outside the house. Watch me camp
give us your number. We need to call you.
As long as you're happy, that's all I care about, just happiness. If for example, my friend 10 girls, only shopping, everything, that's all I care about, and I will do that. And legitimately, I guess it's not smart in the sense that
maybe you're enabling them, but at the same time,
I'm enabling them. I'm not looking into the future of things, but it's just like I'm rich anyway. I have to be if I'm gonna have you, I have to be gonna have you.
All right.
So we'll be fine. We'll be
relax.
Fine. Yeah. We'll somehow the universe will provide. We'll be fine.
I love that. So I think another struggle that when you go through when you're adulting is your career, right? And dealing with that and having to navigate. Am I gonna be an artist who does not make any money? Or am I going to be an accountant like all the black South African kids, and the pressure is real. So how have you dealt with that through your adulting or your transition?
Excuse me, an artist like all South African kids?
No, I said like an accountant like all South African kids. Like everybody I don't know you guys, but all my friends have either done BCom or law. It's like South Africans.
That's the reason why they're friends, because you're also doing that.
I study media. I do media I do a double degree, so I do media and I do business. So that's what I'm saying. How have you dealt as a young adult with coming into terms with what am I going to spend the rest of my life doing? What has that journey been like for you?
Like I said, even with the adulting thing, guys, it's a process. For me, I studied politics, right? And when we are very ambitious kids, and I'm just like, I'm gonna save the world. Mother Teresa ain't got nothing on me. Forget about Mandela. Listen, we're gonna turn this country around. Because I really do feel deeply about certain things and certain issues in politics and whatever. So then I was like, I need to equip myself with that knowledge so that I can't get there and I'm just fumbling. You get it. Then I did my honors and everything. But then you apply for internships and you don't get them. And you apply for different places and nothing comes through. So you're going to sit there and fold your arms and say, I'm not in the industry that I want to be in. What do I do next? As much as now I'm in more like hair care and all those things, it's completely different. And then I have this almost like a struggle with my parents every time because they can't connect the dots of like from studying politics, you even went to go do your honors and now you decide how is it working? You get. Sometimes you understand.
What are you doing right now?
Oh, yeah. So now actually what I'm doing that I work for... I can say the company name, right? Yes, I work for Afro Botanics, where I'm a content curator, and then I help out with the administration in the office and just basically whatever needs to get done. So now,
your parents,
for them to connect the dots, it's a disconnect. They don't get it. And for me, I only see it in terms of like when I have to write things for like the website or whatever, or submit things, is that in varsity you're taught how to write properly. I'm taught how to research. I can't learn how to research properly if I didn't go through that thing. And I always tell them like politics is not running away. I'm going to use that degree in one way or another. And I feel like as a young South African right now, it's not always viable to go full head and into a government job because you'll be stuck there. Like the culture of South African politics, guys, is another. It's another topic for another day as well. So I just feel like I'm just learning to be like, I'm here for a reason. Just deal with it and just calm down. But I tell them, I'm like, but I'm paying it back.
That's true. That's true.
But I always say it will all work out.
Yeah. I think with my career...
What do you study, by the way?
Right now, I'm doing my majors. I'm doing a BA. And my majors are African Studies and... film media.
This chick, she's not gonna make money. This girl is not gonna make money. I'm an artist.
I can look at people in the eye. Like, I have to look everywhere else for me to actually keep my train of thoughts. When I look in your eye, I literally lose everything. But currently, I'm doing my BA in African Studies, majoring in African Studies and film media. But all of my electives are business electives because as much as I went through whatever I went through, trying to run away from the BCom and stuff like that, it really it has somehow fit in there because we need to make money. Like, I need to know how my money works because when I own those businesses, I need to understand what's happening in the accounting side, what's happening in the economic side of things, what's happening everywhere. Like I need to know, But again, I started off trying to do a BCom. And I was just like, hell to the motherfucking no. I'm not doing this shit at all. Like, it's not me. I don't feel like I'm tapping into the source of self, if that makes sense. I feel like my thing is humans. I deal more with humans than I'm able to deal with humans than I am to deal with like numbers and papers and making money and all of that. That's what I first thought. And I was like, oh no, I can't do a BCom because it doesn't have that human connection. And I just want to save the world as well, being so very ambitious, but not doing politics, doing African studies and understanding, because my people are the African people, and that's all really I care about, and reaching the African people through media, which is what we consume the most. So I left BCom, and then only later, like 2 years after I left my BCom, did I realize that, hey, I need to do humanities, and there's something called African Studies and film and media. And that's what I came to do. That's what I'm doing now. But I had that hiccup. You having a hiccup after your degree. I had that hiccup in between degrees. So it took me 5 years, dude. Like a good solid 5 years from high school to university.
To now.
Yeah.
You can imagine what my
But
parents
the cool thing is you connected it then because now BCom is still there somehow. In one form or another, it's still there.
But you can imagine how my parents, I'm sure my friends are like, oh, what's happening with this girl? Like,
and your parents just look at you, they're just like, your parents are like the child.
You know what they say? You still owe me 100K for dropping out. You still owe me 100K.
No, man, I think that's so real because for me, I'm still in university, and for me, my parents aren't paying for it, so lucky enough, nobody's out here making rules
You ain't got
for
that
me.
guilt, girl.
You know,
Yeah.
no guilt. And I was very fortunate to get a super awesome scholarship that covers everything, so I don't even have debt. But I remember going in. I think South Africans and just culturally, because we come from the economic standpoint that we look for very practical things to study. We don't support art. We don't support humanities. Even what
True.
is like?
There's no scholarships
For,
that are easy to find
for humanities, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's very like practical. You must be doing science or math or something that's gonna get you money on that stream. So for me, I think like all kids do, I exactly did a double major, combined the two. I do business. But I do media as well, and business I absolutely love. I think I'm a huge fanatic about how businesses function, and I love media. And not the funny enough, you say film and media studies, because I do a different type of media. I study technology in the media space, so thinking about social media, thinking about how new tech innovations come in, and that was never my plan. I think for me, being an adult and going to school has been a discovery of self. Mm-hmm. Like I'm always shocked at who Gigi is. I'm like, girl. This is you. Okay. Like I don't know yet. Like I went to, because I grew up thinking I was going to do film studies, cinematography. That was my path. I went to a photography class. I was like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. What the fuck is this?
Oh no, I'm sorry with her. Oh, yawn. It's not a yawn. It's like,
what the fuck is this? It's like, what the hell? And then I went to my professor and he's like, you just gotta feel it, Gigi. You gotta feel. I'm like, hey, Lamuna, I'm not feeling this. I even spoke to him. I was like, yo, I'm not feeling. I was like, no, okay. And that's when it hit me. Like, as an adult, you just are discovering who you are, because I think you're getting created as you go. And so it's just like, oh, this is you, girl. And that's how I found tech and found the media space in tech. And you're learning to just amalgamate and change as you go. But I like what Nonhle spoke about earlier on. I think Lebo, you touched it as well. Is the fact that as you grow, there's a lot of identity issues and self that you have to now discuss with yourself and your family. Like you're constantly like, my family wants this of me and they want me to fit into this mold, but that's just not who I am. Mm-hmm. So as you've been like discovering and going through being part of an adult, how have you dealt with saying, this is who I think I truly am and this is who you want me to become and this is what I'm compromising, and how are you dealing with your self-identity?
I wish I had brought my laptop here so I could actually read out the letter that I wrote about why I want to leave Vega, where I was doing my BCom, to wanting... Okay, at the time I didn't say I wanted to do a BA in whatever, because I hadn't figured that out, but I just knew that I didn't want to do a BCom, you know. I got lost in my own train of thoughts. What was your question?
So I was asking, how do you dealt with
about it now?
feeling like this is what my parents and society wants me to be, but this is really who I am, and this is how I'm making sense of the world I live in?
I mean, what really happens is for you to really tap into yourself, you know, outside of this life. I mean, especially leaving high school and you now.
Yawns.
High
school was a joke.
I always tell people, I feel like I've lived 2 lifetimes in one, because leaving high school, you have this whole idea. I was that one child, I promise you, my whole matric, that didn't know what they wanted to do. All I knew is I wanted to take a gap year. That's all I knew. And keep using my train of thought.
Right. Self and identity, aligning what the world expects from you and where you want to be and who you really are.
Yeah, just tapping into yourself, man. Like, okay, go.
I think even with all of my confusion, I've always been very like self-aware of myself. Like I cannot, even though my parents have certain expectations, I never really let that like truly disrupt my peace, like my inner peace. Like as long as, honestly guys, if I can go to sleep at night, well, I'm okay. I'm still on the journey of figuring it out. I'm still very much confused, which is maybe crazy for somebody who's like, oh, you know, I studied politics and I really thought in parliament, want to be one of the youngest ones in parliament there, you know, telling people to get off. But I think you just learn to be gentle with yourself. Like, honestly, be kinder to yourself, because nobody can be... Like, you have to be your biggest fan. As much as you're your biggest critic, I get it. You have to be your biggest fan. And those small victories, you clap for yourself.
Amen.
You know, even if it's as little as, like, listen, I got to work on time. Or I didn't need a glass of wine to go to bed. Whatever your small battles that you deal with, if you can overcome those, clap for yourself when nobody's watching, because that's what keeps you going. Even in this confusion. And when people out there, they're like, oh my word, Lebo or Gigi or Nonhle have got it all figured out. They're like, if only you knew, you know. Right. But it's because I don't know, like, just celebrate those small victories, and it's okay. Like, it's okay to be confused as long as you don't camp there.
Yeah.
Like,
I like that.
let's work on it.
See,
I think in general, I have the round end picture, you know, but it's forever changing.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I once posted something on, it's okay not to be defined, or being able someone to be defined by others, you know. And I remember my dad's like, oh, are you sure about that? Like, how what's wrong? Like, you're supposed to be, people are meant to just have conversations with you, get to know you, and actually define Lebo or Nonhle as A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm like, but I'm forever changing.
Yeah.
I'm forever changing. I'm forever learning new things. And whatever I get to learn always changes the person I'm becoming,
Right.
you know. I think with that, it's helped me be open to things that maybe society first wanted me to be, and I was just like, I've never really fit in. I've never been the cool kid. I've never really tried to make everyone happy. So now I'm open to anything that's other, and doing things like media and film and whatever. It's just an extensional expression of self, you know. Keep losing my train of thoughts.
I really like what you said, especially about, you know, consistently discovering. And I think identity, right? Identity is not a stagnant phenomenon. If you met me when I was 18 and who I am at 22, completely different people.
Or even like last year,
like
beginning of this year.
Beginning of this year, I had not done my internship where I was freaking out about the career choices I'm making. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go into this. And I'm like, what the hell? You can't tell me that. But I think, you know, for me, growing and having to reconcile my identity has been, I went to a talk last week, and this lady said, you've always got to think of yourself as a company. And surround yourself with board of directors, right? And said you're always gonna have your confidants and the people who you look up to and who have made the right decisions, and you're like, you know what, I'd love to learn from you. And so when you're evolving and changing, always have people you can go to and say, hey, you know, this is what I'm considering, and this is where I am, and this is what I'm looking at. Can you give me feedback, and can you co-collaborate? Because I think for me, sometimes I stick to certain things even when I know they're not right, and I can feel they're not right, but I'm just like, you know, I've just held on to this for so long. Like, you know, I went through my first year in university thinking I was going to study media, and I'm like, I can't lose media. This is what I thought I was going to be for my whole life, you know. But it took for me to call a very close, actually Nonhle's mom. And I really look up to her, and I think she's an OG by the things that she's done. But it took me calling her and saying, hey man, I'm really confused as to where I'm going. And yes, it wasn't my parents. I think traditionally we think we should always go to your parent, or sometimes I don't think my mom has made the best career choices. So I've got people I look up to for career choices. I think I look up to for people who've got a lot of emotional healing. Zofia is another lady where I'm like, I'm just breaking down emotionally. Can you give me support and things like that? So for me, with my identity and reconciling it, it's definitely been about having like a board of directors for where if I'm confused, I'm like, let me get on the phone. Help me figure this out. This is what's going through my mind. And having people who, you know, love you enough to tell you the truth and to tell you when you're messing up, like, homegirl,
this is not it.
This is not it. Shut it down. But also being able to let you breathe and to let you actually evolve and to let you say, hey, you might not like that. Like your mom gave me Demetria gave me very constructive advice and said, you're thinking about compromise instead of collaborate. Don't think you have to give up anything. Why can't you just do both of them and have them both, you know? But it's a thought that I would never have had. So always looking up to your elders and having them as a form of feedback as you were a young adult is very good to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Help me sort this out. They're ahead of you. They probably know a lot of things that you don't.
Yeah.
You know? And then
there is a saying in our culture that like you learn from those who are in front. You don't have to keep having to go through the same mistakes that they did, and now you go through the same thing. Just learn from what they
You know, wise man learns from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, speaking of another form of adult that's sometimes quite gory, how have you discovered love?
Love is patient, love is kind.
Oh, bullshit.
When you're a young adult,
according to 1 Corinthians 13, I'm gonna bring the Bible up in her. That's what love is. But in my reality, love is my family, guys. That's where my love is.
Yeah, how's your dating scene? For me to be more specific.
How is this? Is this a continuation of adulting?
Yeah, part of being an adult is
How's the
Your dating life, you're young, you're 20.
The dating scene involves Tinder. Let's leave it at that.
Girl, you are key ass. You know, on Tinder there's no relationships, right?
Right. So
I met my boyfriend who I'm dating for a 1 year and a half
on Tinder.
Girl, he's an OG. Never thought it would happen.
right.
Okay, yeah, maybe in South Africa, Tinder is not for finding relationships.
It's a thirst trap.
What is Tinder for?
Swipe right, find out.
I love that expression. That your facial expression is like swipe right.
You'll find out. But you chime in. Tell us about your love life.
My
Yeah.
love life as a young adult. Oh shit. It can wait. Yeah, it can wait. In terms of like, you know, like for me, I think as I get older, I'm trying to understand the whole concepts of love and like the whole concepts of love. So I've only ever been in 2 serious relationships, and from those 2 relationships, they came in different stages in my life, and so I've learned different things from them. But they're definitely not the kind of relationships I want to move on to eternity, love, eternal love with, you know. And that's me at this moment in time. It's been like what, I can't tell you how long, but still trying to define exactly, even though love shouldn't be defined, you know. But I can choose. The same way I'm very selective with friends. I can't have you as my friend because you maybe too outgoing, or you're focused on certain things, or like there and there and there, and I can't invite someone like that into my life in terms of in that love sense, because when I love hard, like I love with my all, you know, and who you are can really also translate into who I become, and I don't want that unless it's positive and love and just green only.
Yeah, I don't want somebody to come disrupt my peace. I think generally, to be honest, like without sounding like you know, I don't love love, you know, I love love, I'm a product of love, you know, all I know is love. But I'm saying I'm at the point to like, I'm trying to, you know, you rediscover yourself and you're trying to figure out life, and at the same time, if someone does come in, provided that you're bringing peace, it's okay. Other than that,
exactly.
we'll just keep swiping right.
I'm still trying. No, that's left.
I meant left. Oh my word, I've been doing this thing wrong.
I'm just trying to be free, man. Like I'm still learning how to love myself. Like that's it's such a daily struggle.
Right.
And until I learn how to love myself, then I know what kind of love I want to feel from someone else. Really.
Yeah, as the
Yes.
only person in a relationship here, and you're doing this adulting thing, surely you have a different narrative from what we have.
I mean, for me, it's actually been quite new, and it's been quite surprising, and it hit me. I didn't think I'd have like, honestly, knowing me, everybody who always sees me is like, wait, just deal with your boyfriend. Wow, right? I couldn't settle on a career, or like I could never have. Insane, like how I was. I'm very everywhere. I do a lot of things. That's just my personality. And so I didn't think I'd have a long-term boyfriend like this. It really was very accidental. But I think it shows also the type of relationship we have, right? I think I really enjoyed having a partner who's very malleable, he's also young. So he's not, oh, this needs to be said, this needs to be said, this needs to be said. And he's very malleable, and we're both changing. We're both trying to grow in different ways. We're exploring different paths. And so it's been like a friend of mine to grow with, essentially. Because sometimes, and especially being, I think for me, it was a way of finding comfort because I was away from home. And so I think part of me having a serious relationship did come with the sense of when you're alone and in the US, it's not a communal culture like us where you like, buddy. People are very closed off, and so when you do find that person you connect with, you tend to hold them very close. But and what that's done is that it's given me like a really awesome best friend who I go home and do it. I'm like, yo, you would not believe, you know. And it's been very fun. He's my travel buddy. We've seen in Mexico. We're doing Toronto. He's opened his own business. It's just been such a part of growth for everybody involved. And even if we break up, I don't want to, like, even if I break up, I don't think I'm going to be super regretful. I'm just probably going to be like, yeah, dude, it had to come. I'm very seasonal about love. It comes and goes. It's like, yeah, it's there.
No,
let's do this.
Like,
I want an eternal, like, I when I'm saying, like, you are legit, okay, I know there's nothing as the one, but I'm saying if I feel like I want to connect with your soul, let me put it like
don't
that.
let the world lie to you. There could be the
right.
one.
If I'm saying that I want to connect with your soul more than just everything else, it needs to be more than just seasonal. Like,
But for me, can I say something? Actually, I'm actually really going to chime in your thought right there. Because I feel like, for me, I will get to that type of love through experience. I don't think there's ever for me going to be where I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this person is blah, blah, blah. I just don't think love works like that. I think love is very much, we're working on this, we're growing this, it's our thing, and we're putting effort and we're loving each other. But when people start, when you get to a place where you're like, this no longer serves me, this is no longer right, you have to also be at the point of saying, I'm letting this go, I'm not giving food, I'm moving away from it. So that whole...
See, but that's a different experience of love, because again, it is your first relationship.
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
Now, speak to Lebo's parents about love. You know,
who've been married for like 25 years
and
with
yes,
each other for
there's
30.
been times where this no longer serves them, and it's time for them to leave. You know, but because it's a different level or stage or experience of love, it's a different conversation. It's not there's no full stop. Unless, of course, you know, like the biggest tragedy, which we can't say it's like cheating or
whatever you define as your biggest tragedy for your relationship.
Exactly. But simple things like cheating, which you would probably say now, like, oh, hell to the motherfucker, no, I'm out of here, juices. It's not the same kind of conversation or
parents could be having.
You know?
And like I said, I think though that comes with experience, right? For me, I've known Ben for 1.5 years. If you cheat on me, deuces. But if I'm with you for the last 10 years, if you cheat on me, that experience of that 10 years and that longevity will make me reconsider, right? And that's why for me, that's why I'm saying love is grown. Like, I don't think I'll ever meet, maybe I will. Maybe one day I'll just knock on the door and this thing will be like, damn, I couldn't live with you. But I just don't think love works like that, where you find this eternal... I don't even know a word for it. I just think you grow that, and then you learn and you grow and you evolve and you build this love to the point where there isn't a full stop. To the point where I don't think everybody starts with a full stop and then it goes further and further and further away, right?
But you that's what I'm saying, you yet to experience it, because you never know, that could be in the cards for you, you know. And I feel like
don't give me that.
When you guys, like Nonhle said, I love hard. So for me, it's like, I'm not gonna do it if I'm not gonna do it perfectly. I mean, properly. I'm not gonna sit there and just sell you dreams. We're not gonna waste each other's time like that. But I feel like I connect with your soul. Somehow you and I just gel, and I would love to see. Man, I can't explain it, but yeah, love is just I don't know.
Explicable.
Like, I can't even put it into words, guys. But I don't know. Someone I would look at and be like, you know what? Even in the worst situation, I'll still pick you. Even in a different version of reality, I'll still pick you.
I'm scared for me personally, as you even described that, I'm like, no.
Right.
I'm just like, I'm very practical. I'm like, listen, I don't want to love you.
But that's the thing about love. I don't think sometimes maybe love isn't that practical then. Do you get?
I'm very practical. Even in my love language, I'm practical, which is a conversation on that day. Because even in my love language, like, I love through practical action. Like, we did a diagnostic test where my boyfriend's very romantic, very feely love. My love language is so practical. I need certain things for me to make me feel love. Where it's just very practical. I don't love on the...
Really?
Yeah.
Opposites. For me, it's like, it's a very simple thing. As long as if you notices something, and then maybe later do a little gesture for me. But because he's noticed something that isn't even physical for him to notice. So the fact that it's and him and I are conversing is not a word. Conversating. And little things, like maybe he sees like how I smile when he says certain things, you know. And I don't know, it's just the little things, man. Like,
really?
Notice, I don't want you to be like, I love you. Just... Don't I love you or buy me this like the love language. It's not gifts and
you don't
stuff
want
like
gifts
that.
and
it's about noticing little things because you love me so much that you have to see past this me, oh hey baby, like times I had to like, it has to be past this, it has to be like, dude, like she's feeling so sad, and then this rush of energy inside of her.
I'm saying the soul connection, guys.
She's feeling so sad, and then all of a sudden, and then I touch and I can feel like this energy rush. Like, words girlfriend of notes. Like,
No, it's not.
too much detail.
Yeah, I
Like
feel
too much
that.
detail, and I have to understand that people don't come the way I am towards you. It's like, but why aren't you the way that I am? That's all I want.
But the beauty, like you
Me.
said, is like when he understands your love language, he can then
Yeah.
communicate in the way that you want, and then you can do the same for him. Because for him, he might just be like acts of
Or
service.
her.
Listen, you can
Or her, yeah.
him or her, yes, can be like, okay, I prefer that you show me your love through acts of service or through words of
Yeah.
affirmation. Then you figure it out and you learn, and then you can
Adulting.
both win.
Back to adulting.
Yeah, back to the adults. We'll close this off. Love language of mine. Grow a company with me. Let's build an empire. I'm such an anal about that. But thank you so much for listening. And these are just the topics that we covered on our first episode of Adulting 101.